Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Friday, or Saturday, or Sunday, or Monday. I don't know what day you're listening to this, but whatever day it is, hope it's a great day for you. Quick note before we get started for today's show, I want to tell you about the growth we've been seeing with this show and with Lions of Liberty Pride. We're having some of the best download numbers we've ever had, and that is all thanks to you guys, thanks to our new listeners from our advertising on the Reason Roundtable, and the growth we've seen in the Lions of Liberty Pride, which you can join by going to patreon.com/Lions of Liberty. We are now over our goal of $1,500 per month, which gets us to really doing the Libertarian National Convention the right way, getting a videographer there to document everything, put out great content, interviews, video, all that stuff for you guys to enjoy. So we're not stopping here. We want to keep going. The next goal is $2,000 a month. So please help us to get there. You can do that by joining us for as little as $5 per month. Actually, as little as $2 per month. You can get access to our Facebook group. If you want bonus content and all that good stuff, you got to give us at least $5 per month to get that. So please join us at the Lions of Liberty Pride, patreon.com/Lions of Liberty.
Welcome to Felony Friday, a presentation of the Lions of Liberty podcast. Here is your host, John Odermatt.
Felons, friends, and freedom lovers, welcome back to another edition of Felony Friday, a weekly show right here on the Lions of Liberty podcast. What is Felony Friday? Felony Friday is a show where every single week we're going to do a deep dive and we're going to examine and expose injustice in the broken criminal justice system. Now, if this is your first time listening to Felony Friday, your first time listening to any of the shows we have here on Lions of Liberty, sit back, relax, enjoy the show, put your feet up. If you're driving, please don't put your feet up. But if you've been back several times, if this is a regular habit of listening, why haven't you subscribed? Or maybe you have subscribed. Thank you if you subscribed. But if you haven't, please do so. Whatever podcasting app you're listening on, please just scroll up to the top there, punch that subscribe button, and you'll get every single episode of the Lions of Liberty podcast and of Felony Friday delivered to your little listening device. And also, if you really enjoy what you're hearing here, please think about giving us a 5-star rating and a review on Apple Podcast, especially if you listen there, because it helps with the algorithms and all that crazy stuff. Without further ado, let's get rolling with today's show. Welcome to episode 216 of Felony Friday. My guest today is Claus Nielsen. Claus had his life turned upside down while he was living in Denmark. Really all started when he began to produce his own THC-oil in order to help his daughter who was fighting cancer. Over time, by word of mouth, people heard about this and demand grew and other people wanted access to his oil. He never charged anyone, but soon after, Claus was arrested, tried, and convicted, and he's here today to share his very important story. Claus, welcome to Felony Friday.
Thank you, John. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for coming on the show, and we had some minor obstacles coordinating our schedules. You're over in Bulgaria now, correct?
Yeah, data.
And, of course, I'm in the U.S., so a little time difference, but we made it work, and happy to have you on.
Happy to be here.
So let's, I guess, first place to start is, so this story happened in Denmark. You're in Bulgaria now. What's the reason why you moved?
The reason we talked about moving for many years, and when I was in jail, my family came and we talked about moving, and my big daughters in Denmark said, if you want to move to another country, maybe this is a good time to do it. So we talked about it, and I said to my wife, if you want to move, it's totally up to you. This decision is 100% yours, but if you want to do it, I'll back you up and I'll make it happen. And then we have been on vacation in Varna in Bulgaria, and she liked the city, so she wanted to move down here. So we did.
Very good, very good. And I'm sure partially motivated by getting away from everything that happened in Denmark.
Yeah, there's all the things that happened in Denmark. I don't like the country,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. I don't like the way the system treats the people, and I don't like the way the people are getting brainwashed in Denmark,
Mm-hmm.
and they're getting told that this is the best system in the whole world, and you can't get anything better anywhere else. And just example, when we told people in Denmark that we are going to move to Bulgaria, the first thing was about, well, what about the mafia? And the next three was, what about the roads, the schools, and the hospitals? Like they have no roads down here, no hospitals, no schools, and all are run by the mob down here. People are so brainwashed in Denmark that they live in this little bubble
Mm-hmm.
and don't know what the world has to offer them. So it's partially because of we didn't like the way our country which direction the country went in, and also because of I have arthritis in my knees and my hips and my shoulders, and I have a sore back. And when I'm down here, I only have pain. Maybe a month a year. In Denmark, I maybe have pain 11 months a year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we moved to a warmer country than Denmark.
That's good. So let's just work our way through your story, and let's start. I mean, I think the best place to start is at the beginning. So obviously, what happened is you started making your own THC oil to help your daughter, right?
Yeah, she got diagnosed with cancer in the age of. She was just turned 17, had a little daughter, and she got cancer, breast cancer. And I have been reading about trying to find some good arguments about why cannabis should be legalized. And in this period of time, I fell over a guy, Rick Simpson, from Canada, who told about this cannabis oil. And it almost sounded like it could make your arms grow out again if you lost it. Said, okay, I don't need that. I just need to get rid of the cancer. Right. So we decided to try to buy some of this cannabis oil. And we found somebody in Christiania in Denmark who sold it, but it was way too expensive, and it was just like water. So it wasn't anything like I saw it on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So I decided to make it myself, and I did. We bought 80 grams of cannabis and went home, and then I made some cannabis oil, and she got that. And after cannabis oil and chemo, she got chemo pills also for 5 months. She got what do you call it in English? It's cancer-free.
Going into remission, I guess we would call it here. Yeah.
After 5 months, she went to the doctor, and she got told that there was no cancer left.
Wow.
And she only lost her eyelashes, and her nails was ruined. Mm-hmm. But anything else wasn't. There was no other side effects of this.
And you attribute that in part to the THC oil.
It is, definitely. I have no doubt whatsoever. And when she got back from the doctor and told me that she was healthy now, I had 20 milliliters of oil. I put them out on the web, and people bought it. And after 2-3 weeks, people was writing me back if they could buy some more, because suddenly there was this woman who had pain in her body, has had it for 15 years, I think. So all of a sudden, she was pain-free. And there was this other woman who had a father who had cancer and went into chemo and didn't eat and didn't talk. And she wrote me back that after she started to give him this oil, he started to eat, and now he has no pain, and now he started to walk again. I don't know what happened to him, but then I thought I have to do one of two things. Either I have to just stay low, beneath the radar and produce this and make some money, or I have to go public. And it was maybe illegal what I did, or it was illegal what I did, but it wasn't wrong. It's not wrong to help people who has pain or who like that. So I decided to go public. So I made a Facebook page and I built up a website where you could go in and buy. And I sent all this oil with the Post Denmark. This is the Danish post office. And people were buying it. And then we were making this documentary. Actually, it's a bit fun because when the journalist, he came to me and our first meeting, I said, it could be a bit fun if I got arrested in the middle of everything, wouldn't it? He said, oh, yeah, but he wouldn't like that. No, but it would be good TV. He agreed with me. Yeah. And when we started this documentary that he wanted to move to do, it was planned to be about 43 minutes. And then I got arrested, and then it got postponed or longed to an hour. And so all these people who was buying from me, a lot of them told, we'll be back behind you and you go for it. And the government is shitty and what they do is wrong and everything. And when I got arrested, there was 200 people outside the courtroom. Me and my wife got arrested at the same time. And that's okay. That was 200 people, but I had 8,000 customers.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
8,000 customers.
I know. Just to back up for a minute, to have 8,000 customers, I have no idea how hard it is to make THC oil or the process, but what kind of operation did you have?
Well, I started with a small one. I had a distillation, this. It's called a smart kit. It's a small 4 liters, and I made 10 liters at a time, and it takes about. I took about, what was it? I think 4 hours to distillate 4 liters, and I got about 50 or 60 milligrams of oil of that. And then when people was responding and want to buy something more and more and more, and then I had to buy another one. So I had 2, and suddenly I had 4, and suddenly I had 6 times 4. Then it was it was too little again, and a guy contacted me, and I built a lab, like a professional lab. I'm a building constructor also, so I know how to do this. And then we had this 6 distillation of 4 liters, and it was too small again. So I bought a 27 liter, and that turned into 2, into 4, into 6. So when I got arrested, I had 6 27 liters of distillation. Just what do you call it in English? Distillations?
I don't know.
Okay. Where you distillate normally when you're making moonshine, it's just like that. Oh, you're not making moonshine. Somebody does.
Like a still. I guess a moonshine,
a still.
You would call it a still. Okay.
Yeah, it's a still in English. And then I got arrested, and I just bought 3 tons of sugar because I wanted to make my own alcohol to distillate it. And I had bought 200 liters of, I think I had bought 200 liters of barrels to have this sugar and yeast and water in to make the alcohol. And the police came. They came at my job and they arrested me. Said that this is 18 minutes past 11 and you're under arrest. And then they drove home with me, and my co-worker, he drove home. I have built this lab at his home and making the oil there, and paid him to rent this place and for all the electricity I used. Nothing of that was illegal. When the police defined the lab, they asked, where do you get the electricity from? And this guy, he showed it was from here. And they say, but don't you steal it? No, he said, we are not criminals.
Mm-hmm.
So it went from a small production to a big production, and I tried a lot of things that cost me a lot of money. I tried to make some cannabis cream,
Mm-hmm.
if you got psoriasis or something,
Right.
and that only that cost me about 100,000 Danish kroners to try to make. I made a chocolate. This woman who was also convicted, she made the chocolate beans for me. I made some, what do you call it? Lactose. What do you call it in English? Lactose. If you don't, the milk, you can't drink milk.
Lactose intolerant.
Lactose intolerant
Yeah.
and no sugar
Mm-hmm.
in this chocolate,
Oh,
and no
wow.
cannabis oil. And that alone cost me about 100,000 as well. So
Wow.
that's how, I don't know. That's 15.
And you weren't, correct me if I'm wrong, but you weren't charging a lot when you were selling it. You were.
Oh yeah, somebody has to pay, and most of the people paid,
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't earning any money on this one. When people came to me and told me about the problem and asked if they could buy, I said yes, they can buy, and so they bought the oil from me. But some of these folks who came to me had sick kids and wanted to give it to them,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't charge them. They came and told me about the problem, and we talked about this cannabis oil. And when they said they want to buy something for the kids, I told them, sorry, I can't do that. I cannot take money from you.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a lot of those actually. And I had a guy also who had MS. That's way in the beginning of this. I talked to him and tried to said, do you want to make an experiment? I'll give you all the oil that you can take, and just keep going. And you don't have to pay for this. And I'll give him for, I think it was 2 or 3 years. I gave him 10 milliliters every Monday. So that's about 2 or 3 liters of oil he got for free. And it didn't make him better, but it stabilized his MS. When I got arrested and came out again for the first time after two months, then I talked to family, and then I called him. His name is Jack, and asked him how he was, and he said, truly, it's just downhill since I didn't get the oil. So it helps a lot of people. Even I know, you don't have any evidence of this, but I don't care, and people don't care. I have met so many people, and I've tried it on my own body. I know it helps. When I was producing the oil, I took 1 drop of cannabis oil in the evening, and then I didn't have any pain at all next day. So, and then in the evening again, 1 drop.
And this is cannabis oil. Was it, because now in the U.S. they've now sort of legalized hemp oil, but it has small amounts of THC. So what is it? Less than 3% or something like that.
Well, that's okay.
So how much THC content was in the oil you were producing? Or did it vary? Did you have a bunch of different?
No, I had the same producer every time of this cannabis, this hemp plant, and it was almost the same. And I had it. I paid a lab to do a test, and he said about 85 to 90% THC.
Okay.
But I'm not sure that's the correct amount. He said it was relative. So, but you guys can get it with 3% over there, but as long as it's made on the whole flower, you got all the cannabinoids and everything in it. Here in Denmark, they're trying to do it with only CBD or only THC delta 9, and just took these 2 components out and use them. But they don't use all the others, and then you lose the entourage
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't care. But I told myself if I'm getting sick, if I ever get cancer, I don't care about the government. I'm gonna do it again, but for myself this time. Now I did what I should do in Denmark, and that's it.
Right. So what were or what are, maybe the laws haven't changed,
Yeah.
the laws in Denmark about just drugs in general? I mean, is cannabis legal in any way? Is it totally prohibited or?
It's cannabis is legal for medication,
Mm-hmm.
but the medication that they're producing in Denmark is it's shitty. You can't use it for anything. I have a friend in Denmark who's a doctor. She's giving this out. She's only working with cannabis. Almost 99% of the time is cannabis, and the only thing that she can give to people is from the pharmacy. And she had an elderly lady with pains who tried this one, and it costs. I'm just gonna it's about $300 for about 20 milliliters or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she bought this one and she took it, and it didn't help her at all. And then she drank the whole bottle, and then she called this doctor and told her, I drank the whole bottle now, and or yesterday I drank the whole bottle, and I haven't slept like this for many, many years, but I can't afford 2,000 Danish kroner or $300 a day for medication. So what can I do? And she can't do anything. So it's legalized medication, but not you can't smoke it. And actually it's stupid. And there's all this myth that you guys also have in the States with you get psychosis and if women are smoking it, they're going to have sex with jazz musicians and all the, like you guy Anslinger told that, right?
Yeah, Harry Anslinger. Yeah.
It's your fault. So
it really is amazing when you trace it back that one guy, Harry Anslinger, could have had such this horrible impact on the entire world, and he's still having the impact, and he's been dead for how many years?
He died in 1995.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, it was way over his due. He should have died in 1990. So.
Absolute craziness. So let's talk about your conviction. And did you spend time in jail, in prison?
Yeah, I was the only one. We were. The prosecutor wanted, I think it was me and another guy in jail, and the other 4 on probation. I was the only one who got to jail. And my wife and Rasmus, not the one who you know, but another one, we went to jail for the first time for 52 days. And then we went to court after a year, and then I got 6 months to jail. Then we took it to Supreme Court, and then I got 6 months. So after 2.5 years, I got to go to jail for 182 days. It was minus. So it was 135 days the second time.
And what was that experience like? What's jail like in Denmark?
Well, if you're a criminal, I think it's okay if you're a criminal. But I'm not a criminal, and most of those guys, I think 70-80% of those guys who are in jail are from the Middle East. And they're shouting from 7 o'clock in the morning and slamming the doors, and it wasn't a good experience for me. No, but it's okay. I'd rather be in jail in Denmark than in Bulgaria or USA. So, but I didn't like it, not one bit. And I'm not. that's also one of the reasons why I stopped. Actually, it was because reason number one, I achieved what I wanted to. I was one of the reasons that the law was changed in Denmark, and I had helped a lot of people. And the second reason,
the law was changed to legalize medical marijuana because of you, in part. Really,
partially because of me. Not because of me, but partially because of me, because I was friends, or am friends, with a lot of politicians in Denmark. And suddenly there was this guy, family dad. I have 4 children, and I have a job, and I was going out and I had a nice suit on and talking about this one. I wasn't one of those guys who normally stand in front of the journalist with a joint in the mouth and shouting that free cannabis, man. I was just, and I'm not even using it. I've smoked a joint 3 times in my life, and the last time was 18 years ago. So, and I don't like it. I don't like getting high. And this was a different kind of guy who suddenly stand up for the rights. And yeah, then when I came out of prison, it was I've done what I should do. I could keep going, but you have to pick your fights, and this was my fight, and now it was over, and now I should do something else. I tried to start up with making a legal production, but because I was convicted, I couldn't get the license in Denmark. I don't know if I can get it down here. I don't care. Now I'm down here. I'm a craftsman in Bulgaria, and I sell houses and apartments. I'm a real estate guy for Danish people, and I'm trying to make a hydroponic farm down here with strawberries, because we have in Varna, Burgas, this area, the south area, we have a lot of problem with no rain, so we need water. So that's what I'm doing down here now. I'm trying to do, and sometimes it's not enough, so I go back to Denmark and work for 2 or 3 months. And when I've been there for 2 or 3 months, I've made enough money to live for a year down here.
Really?
Yeah, it's very cheap down here.
Okay.
The taxes in Denmark are about 60-70% all in all, and down here it's about 30.
Okay.
So, and that's with taxes and everything.
And it's a lower cost of living and all that.
Yes.
So, do you consider yourself to be an activist? I know that it sounds like you kind of got pulled into this. Maybe not reluctantly is the right word, but kind of sort of just out of obligation. Did you consider yourself to be an activist?
No, not at all. And people are telling me that I'm an activist and a freedom fighter, and I'm supporting. Yeah, people like to put other people in boxes. And I don't know what I am, but I'm not a freedom fighter. I'm not an activist. I'm just a guy who did what's the right thing to do. Like if you see a child running over the street, you have to pull this child back, and that's what I did. I'm not a hero. So many people in Denmark consider me as a hero, but I'm not. I'm not thinking as a hero. I don't know if. And then people are saying, well, that's because you are a hero. So, yeah. No, I'm not an activist.
Yeah, you're just doing what needs to be done in that moment.
I'm doing what normal people should be doing. This shouldn't only be me who did this. I can understand people in Denmark, why some of them are saying, yeah, but I can't do this because I have a house and a job and a wife and 2 cars and a mortgage and everything. So, and I didn't have that, so I could do this. But that shouldn't keep you back from doing the right thing. Even you're losing your house or you're losing, fuck that. It's just a house. You can live in a cardboard box if that's the way. No, you can't do that in Denmark because that's not legal. But it isn't. Believe me, homeless is not legal in Denmark. And so people should do this. People should go out, but all these guys in Denmark are shouting, we have to fight the system, and we have to do something, and we have to go out on the streets, and if you're organizing a demonstration or something like that, people are saying, yeah, we are behind you and we're going to do this, and all of a sudden, oh, sorry, but it's my aunt's 51st birthday, or it's raining and I don't have my umbrella, and they have all these excuses for doing nothing. And it's okay. It's okay you don't do anything. Just admit that you don't do anything. Mm-hmm. Admit that you'd rather stay home or go to your aunt's birthday, or you don't want to get wet because you're made out of sugar or something like that.
Yeah, so. And even to take that one step further, because what I hear from a lot of people, when you talk about things like, ending the war on drugs, legalizing cannabis, legalizing whatever drug, and how ending that prohibition, makes things safer, makes it, first of all, makes the drug safer, makes people less likely to become addicted, all these different things. But people will say, well, I just don't understand, the ins and outs of how that would work, or, exactly how that would be implemented. Well, maybe you should learn it. Maybe you should read about it and educate yourself.
Educate yourself, or just say, okay, I'm not smart enough to understand this, but you are. So I'm not going to bother about this one.
Just taking a real quick ad break here. One of our Lions of Liberty Pride members, Tyler Colford, he reached out to me, and he recently upgraded to our $100 level where he gets an ad. And he decided to use this ad today because he has a special message for you out there. He wanted me to let you all know that he's into long walks through the woods. He's into comic books, Graham Hancock novels, video games, and Austrian economics. And if you're into some of those same things, then check out his rap group, Jinx Inc. It's available on all streaming platforms. I was just listening to his song Bootstraps on Spotify. So check out Bootstraps. Check out Jinx Inc. That's Jynxinc. Jynxinc. Jinx Inc. Check it out. We independent like you knew that. No government kickbacks, don't let sacks, just a mattress stuffed with a few stacks. It's really amazing the different excuses people make in order to justify, continue to allow the government to really repress you. Because of all these different things you already have that you don't want to give them up. So this amount of repression is okay because I have all this stuff. Maybe these other people are being pushed down, their lives are being ruined, but I can't jeopardize losing my stuff, so I can't speak out. It's really insanity.
It's selfishness. Yeah, it's this Stockholm syndrome that people are in love with the government. They believe that the government are there for you, and if something's happened to you, the government are going to help you. Down here in Bulgaria, we don't rely on the government. Rely on our neighbors and our friends. Down here, we have a saying: doesn't matter if you're good friends with your families, but be friends with your neighbors.
Oh wow!
Because if something happened to you, it's your neighbor who's coming and cleaning your floor and buying your groceries and making your food and sit down and talk to you and tell you all the gossip that goes around and drink a cup of coffee with you. That's the neighbors. That's not the authority who's coming. So down here we have to be good friends with our neighbors. And if you're an asshole and you don't help your neighbors down here, people are not going to talk to you. Then they're just gonna freeze you out, because down here we expect to help our neighbors, like the Bible say, help thy the next, or something like that.
Yeah. So why do you think that is? Why is, at least your experience in Bulgaria, why are people so much more kind to those living right next door to them?
That they remember how it was before 1991. They remember how it was in communism time, where they could buy two different cars if they want, a Lada or a Trabant, and they all have to wear the same green rain booth. They remember how it is down here. and they are brought up from that time to help thy neighbor, to help the one next door to you. And I have people down here, Bulgarian people, who are saying, well, we can't afford that this much because we're paying 10% in taxes. And I said 10%. In Denmark, we pay 40% if you're lucky. And then you have to pay all the other taxes on top. So maybe 60, 70% in Denmark. And people are thinking, they're brainwashed. They think, oh, in Denmark, we have free hospitals. In Denmark, we have free roads. In Denmark, we have free schools. But they paid for this many, many times. Like the roads, the cars in Denmark are paying for the roads 3 times. They used... this is in Danish. They used 10 billion kroners to fix the roads in Denmark. Mm-hmm. But all these who buying and driving these cars paid 40 billion, 3 times, 4 times as much as the government used. But people are thinking, well, we have free hospitals, we have free schools, we have free roads. No, nothing. There's no such things as a free lunch, and I don't care. It's okay if people want that. They just have to say it. All the other stuff is making me. I'm gonna puke all over the place. And here, I had a break for Facebook for about 6 months because I was getting really, really annoyed and really, really depressed of reading all the stuff from Denmark. So
There's a feature on Facebook that you can, and I use it all the time. If someone's annoying you, you don't even have to unfriend them or unfollow them. You can just click to snooze them for like a month or 2 months. Then you don't see any of their stuff for like 2 months. And then like time will pass by and they'll pop back up and they'll annoy you again. Like, oh, that's right. Okay, that's why.
That's why I snoozed it. Yeah, I like that. Maybe I should try that. Yeah, but after 6 months of not being on Facebook, I was a much happier man, and I wasn't thinking as much of Denmark. And I was thinking, why do I keep going into these discussions with the people from Denmark? I don't live there anymore. I can't I give a shit about Denmark anymore. I don't live there. I live down here. Actually, I hope that Denmark is going bankrupt, because I have 2 daughters in Denmark now. And if Denmark is going bankrupt, maybe they'll move down to me. So they'll come home to daddy. Yeah. So I don't know why people are like that. They don't think. I think that's the problem. They keep voting for the same people over and over again and keep complaining of everything. I really, really don't understand them.
Yeah, well, at least in the U.S., and it's probably Denmark too, probably, most of Europe, is that there's this magic around the word democracy. It's democracy, so it's everything that comes out of it is going to be just fairies and unicorns, and it's going to be the best decisions are made.
Yeah.
Why? What's so magical about the majority of people deciding to do one thing? And then that's what happens. It doesn't make any sense.
We have this guy in Denmark. He wanted to implement in the law that we cannot vote to go out of EU in the future. Why? Why should we have this law? Because from now and till the day the human being isn't on Earth anymore, we shouldn't be able to vote on leaving EU, and that's not democracy. I don't know why people are loving this democracy. I can understand. I understand why we have to have some rules, and I understand. Actually, you had an interview with Lars Andersen. I saw it, and he was one of the reasons why I started all this also, and I'm thinking how I'm thinking. People in Denmark, when they're going out, they are truly believers that the system is the best way to do anything until they tried, until they have to have help from the government.
Mm-hmm.
I have so many nurses who came to me when I produced cannabis oil. They went when they got sick and went to the hospitals. They were amazed about the way they were treated, and they are part of the system. And I don't know why people think as they do. I don't know why they believe that democracy is the best way to do anything. Why?
Yeah, well, I guess it's what they were taught in their free public schools growing up, at least in the U.S. and I'm sure in Denmark. And people have a hard time imagining something different. How would things work? We were talking about roads earlier, bringing up free roads, and that's sort of like, as libertarians in the U.S., that's like our joke argument, because like the first thing whenever you talk about, all right, we need to get rid of the federal government. Well, who would build the roads? Who would build the roads if we got rid of the same people who build them now. It would just be funded differently. We'll figure out a different way to fund them.
Yeah.
It's not that complicated.
Actually, you can see about the roads down here. The public roads down here, they're fine. Actually, they're better than fine. They're better than in Denmark. But if you go up the hills and private roads, they are shitty. But they don't have any money down here. And people are saying, why don't they build the roads? And that's because they rather have a place to live and food on the table. That's more important than have a nice road.
Yeah.
But in Denmark, it's because you don't pay yourself. All the rich guys are paying in Denmark. And all the taxes from to the government is coming from all the rich guys. Then there's people like me, but I'm more expensive than a profit for the government. So I'm glad there's a rich people paid me in Denmark. But down here, that's funny. The last 20 years I've tried to be on my own. Don't take anything from the government if you don't have to. I use the roads. I have to use the roads. But for the last 20 years, I tried to make it on my own. And I wasn't really thinking about it until I came down here, because down here, I'm all alone. There's only me to make this money. And if I don't earn any money, then we will be out on the street next month. And that's a bit scary. And I understand why people are scared about this one. When I talked to my wife, she said, "Yeah, but in Denmark we have some kind of security." I said, "What kind of security do we have in Denmark that we don't have down here?" Well, yeah, we have maybe a place to live. Yeah, if I pay the rent, we have. If I don't pay the rent, we don't have anywhere to live. No, but then we have the hospitals. Yeah. Actually, she just went to the hospital and got her knee fixed down here. It took from when she went to the doctor till she got out of the hospital. It took 1.5 months. In Denmark, that will take 6-9 months. Really? Yeah. Wow. You'll be dead before you get out of the hospitals. So it's a process if you wanted to change people's way of thinking, and I know a lot of people are trying to do that in Denmark, but it's lost. You have to pick your fights, and I'm not gonna fight that fight in Denmark anymore. I tried that. I done things in Denmark, and now I have to think about me and my family and my retirement. I'm 50 next year.
You're 50 next year?
Yeah.
You look like you're 30 years old. Jeez.
I love you. Louisa, I have a new husband. Thank you.
You said at the pre-show chat that you were a grandfather. Like, what the heck? Did I hear that right?
Yeah, I am. My daughter, when she was 16, the oldest one, when she was 16, she got a daughter. Okay. And there was a bit discussions, but she wanted to have this kid. And to support her, that's why I'm calling myself Moffe. It's a nickname for grandfather. Okay. And that was kind of way to support her. And then all of a sudden I had to find a name for this cannabis company, and then I just called it Moffe. So that's why it's called Moffe when I sold all this cannabis. Yeah. So, but thank you for the compliment. I don't feel 30. I feel 50.
So before I let you go, you did mention there were a couple documentaries made, at least one.
Three.
Where can people find those? What's the best way to?
The best way is to go into www.dr2, I think it's called, and find it. It's called Cannabismanden fra Holbæk. It's, if you have to translate it, it's the cannabis man from Holbæk. And that's not what I wanted to call it, or the journalist wanted to call it, but that's what this public wanted to call it.
And there's not a version with English subtitles, is there?
No, I'm sorry. No, I don't think so. I haven't seen it for a long time. It's been 3 years ago since the last one was made, or something like that.
That might not be hard to translate that now with the technology they have. I don't know.
Yeah, they have all this technology. It's possible to translate it. And people are still, actually here 3 years after, people are still writing me if they can buy cannabis oil from me. And what was it? This morning or last night? I think it was this morning. This woman wrote me and said, I just saw your documentary. Whoa, you're a big guy. Thank you for everything you did. And I'm just, what should I say? Thank you. That's what I can do. So from now on, I'm have nothing to do with cannabis, except if I'm getting sick or my family's getting sick.
Right. So just want to give you an opportunity. I don't know if there's anything you want to plug or any parting words you want to give before I let you go.
Nah, maybe if people from Denmark are listening to this, and they are, because I'm gonna throw it on my Facebook. Don't expect other people to do something. Do it yourself. And if you can't do it, then help the ones that can. If you're too sick, then to go to a demonstration, then send somebody from your family just to show up. Do something. If you want to make, like Michael Jackson, if you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then start with the man in the mirror.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Klaus. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to today's show. Another great episode of Felony Friday. As you know, Felony Friday is one of 3 shows we have here on the Lions of Liberty podcast. Of course, we kick off every single week with our Monday show hosted by Mark Claire. It's our longest running program, our flagship program, where Mark interviews leaders in the Liberty movement. Every Wednesday, we have Electric Liberty Land hosted by Brian McWilliams. It's your weekly shot of culture, comedy, liberty, swearing, and just good fun. Check that out. You can get all 3 shows by subscribing for the great price of $0 per month. You get everything that we have here. So please check everything out. And if you like it all, please consider supporting what we're doing here at Lions of Liberty. A great way to do that is by joining the Lions of Liberty Pride. You can do that by going to patreon.com/Lions of Liberty. Another great way of doing that is by following, liking, sharing our stuff on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Lions of Liberty. On Instagram and Twitter, we are at Lions of Liberty. And the discussion forum where all the greatest and brightest minds go to talk about politics, liberty, everything that's happening in the world today, current events, the Lions of Liberty Forum on Facebook, which you can find by typing Lions of Liberty Forum in the search bar at the top of Facebook, clicking search, comes up, say you want to join it, answer a question, bam, you're in, and the rest is just going to be a great journey for you. So check that out. That's all I have for today. This is John Odermatt signing off. Always remember to keep your head up and the fires of liberty burning.